Hey, let's go answer the bell, huh?
If we just know what we're doing, work at it, and concentrate and do it.
Let's go, fellas! Go!
Brady takes the shotgun snap, pressure from his right, steps up, right.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into another episode of the Patriots Podcast. I'm Sean here with Ryan and JJ.
Hello.
What's up?
Before we get started, just please remember to like and subscribe to videos, rate and review to support the show. Appreciate you guys listening, especially through a 2-8 2023 season of the Patriots. When we think it can't get any worse, they just drag you into the depths of hell.
Yeah, if you're
Keeps going.
If you're listening to Patriots podcast, I think you're really
You're hardcore.
You're a good fan. You know,
You're a hardcore fan.
Yeah. Gold stars to everybody who is still
Yeah.
listening, still caring about this team.
But there is something about it to say, Sean, even you said it a couple weeks ago, where like you're almost more invested. Not that everybody is, but some people, you get so fired up and pissed off that you're like reading stuff just to try and find some golden nugget there that'll change everything, but it doesn't exist.
When you guys watch a game and you see this level of suck, are you guys pissed off? I'm like, I just accept.
I mean, it's almost comical,
Yeah.
kind of like, wow, look what just happened there.
Yeah, exactly. Multiple moments of that where it's like, I can't believe they did that.
Yeah.
I mean,
where previously when it's a game that actually matters in years past, feels like ages ago. But you would get really, especially like referee calls or mental mistakes would drive me up a fucking wall. But now it's like, oh, look at that. They made that call. Oh, he did that stupid shit.
Right.
It kind of rolls off your back a little bit more, but I do find myself searching for answers. I'm looking for bright spots. I'm looking for as if we have any influence where I could pass along a nugget.
Right.
It was a weird game being on so early on a Sunday.
Yeah, it was. It was odd. It was different.
I was very jaded after this game as far as the 1:00 games. I just took my baby to the park, and then I had to catch up on him afterwards. But
it's a healthy reaction.
That's what I did against the Commanders game. So I hear you.
Yeah. I mean, the thing, like, there was some good stuff in this game as far as like running the ball, especially in the second half. I was excited by it, like run. And then it would come down to like a 3rd and 2 or what, and Mac Jones is just completely losing his mind on some of these throws. There was one play in the back of the end zone. I think it was to Hunter Henry where he could have thrown a pick easily. Don't know what's going on with him. He's mentally, it's not physical.
He's got no confidence. He's broken mentally. It's like one of those things.
I think this is the game where, you're going to look back at this and be like, he's done in New England. He's cooked.
Yeah.
He's mentally fried.
Yeah, he's not a starter
anymore. Look on the sideline, and Bill O'Brien's pointing at the fucking tablet.
Yeah, literally.
Like, look at this guy. He's wide open. What are you looking at? Like,
yeah, literally.
And the head snap on Bill O'Brien when he's yelling and his head is snapping.
Oh, the teapot.
Back and forth.
Oh my god, I can
the
hear
teapot
it.
there. They call it the teapot.
I mean,
he's feel the spittle.
I mean, we saw him in training camp, Granny. He was really as docile as Bill O'Brien ever could be. And, the Dorchester fire ends up coming out of him at some point there, which is hilarious.
Did you see Darius Butler's tweet about it? He goes, he goes, Bill O'Brien, that's a 3 for him. Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here.
It's frustrating.
But that's the thing.
You look at Mac Jones after that too, and you're just like, you kind of feel for him. Like, he hasn't had a great sequence of 3 years of like
it's been a tough road for him.
How to nurture a young quarterback. I mean, he looked broken last year, and he looks totally broken this year. And it's just like 3 offensive coordinators, not the greatest weapons. If anyone gets hurt on our offensive line, it's an absolute sieve. Trent Brown gets hurt, or even McDermott got hurt, and it was like, yeah, they were bad with McDermott in there. For Darian Lowe, holy shit. How many guys do we have?
He doesn't belong really on an NFL starting line, clearly.
I always think
in
back
capacity.
I always think back to the excerpt.
Not yet, anyways.
I always think back from this excerpt in Michael Lombardi's book. I think it's called Gridiron Genius, where Belichick says something along the lines of, why would I pay a tackle more than I get paid? And
Right.
so,
Oh, really?
like, yeah. And I mean, I don't know who's making as much.
I've
as
heard
him.
stuff like that come up recently. Yeah,
And I'm
that he
just
doesn't
like,
want to pay anyone more than him.
I don't think it's the crafts. I don't. I think it's the
Ah.
way Bill does things, man. I don't think.
I
It's
mean,
the
no,
crafts.
there were years though he did. Like, when he brought in who was it? Revis? Revis made like a $24 million deal. There's no way Bill was making 24
But it
million. That was
wasn't a
like
long-term commitment. Like,
2014. Still,
tying
know.
guys up on this roster is so hard for Bill to concede. Like, oh, we need some longevity out of this position. Otherwise, we're going to be looking for it again in a couple years. And re-signing guys out of the drafts, we've mentioned it 100 times. They play out their rookie deal. Who on offense has had a second contract out of their rookie
It's
deal?
bad. Did you guys see Bill Barnwell's article? Big article, ESPN.com, and he went back for the last, I think, like 9 drafts,
Mhm.
and he was like, they had 2 hits out of
Yeah.
like 24 top 3 round picks. It was bad, but
remember,
some of them are inconclusive. Like, he didn't count Barmore as a hit. I think
Right.
we've already seen enough out of Barmore to say he's a good player for
he's
a
a great
second round
player.
pick.
I think he's been killing it.
Yeah, but he went, and it's just like, it's a train wreck when the names keep coming back up when you see Duke Dawson and Jordan Richards, and you're like, oh my god, I forgot about those
Second
guys.
round picks.
Second
when there
round
were a
picks.
lot of
Cyrus
guys
Jones.
still on the
Dawson's
board.
still playing though. He's playing safety. That's the other thing that I don't like about our picks. Some of these guys are already out of the league. It's not like
lot
they're.
of them, yeah.
It's not like they're not even.
I heard 11 since 2017 aren't even playing, and
like
a
not
certain
even in,
round.
not backups, not like waiver wire fodder.
They're
out of
gone.
the
Yeah.
league entirely, dude. And like,
Yeah.
I'm talking about some like second and third round picks.
Yeah.
Let's
Why don't we get back to this game for a minute here? So they're playing in Frankfurt. Starts out field goal, opening drive for the Patriots. Hey, we got an early lead. I can't believe it. What is this? Immediately give up a touchdown on another sustained drive to the Colts. Then it's a punt fest until the second half, basically. And then in the second half, we totally find ourselves. Yeah, it was 7-3 at halftime after the Colts missed that long field goal right before half.
Mhm.
And then the Colts throw an interception, tip ball. Miles Bryant comes down with it. Say what you want about him. He made the catch. And then we go down, chip shot, field goal, shank it. Turns out to be an enormous play.
35-yard field goal.
35-yard field goal. Later in the game, turns out to be an enormous play. But then it's like during that whole sequence in the second half, Patriots found their offense. They were running the ball like Ryan was alluded to before.
Yep.
And it got to about, I think just in the fourth quarter, I turned to my side and I was like, I think we should never throw the ball again. Like, we're getting 6 yards a clip right now. We should go directly to that Buffalo wind game. Mac Jones is a handoff machine. He's not a quarterback.
Literally.
And it's like every time that they would throw, there were a couple good passes. You got to give them that. But only bad things. The bad things only happened on passing plays. There was never any bad thing on a running play. And it was like, just keep running the ball the whole time.
One, it's like, why didn't they go there earlier? They started the game running well, but then they were trying to pass it. They kept trying to pass it. I mean, I know, Mac only had 20 attempts or whatever, but they kept going away from it in short yardage situations. It's like, you're going to get the third, the 3 yards, the 4 yards. I'd give it. Stevenson was playing easily his best game of the season, which is, kind of a bummer that we lost it because we were bullying them. Like you said, we found our way. We were bullying this team up and down the field. Their defense is nothing to really talk about. Demario Douglas had really a coming out party for himself. 84 yards. He had a 30-yard long reception.
One of those plays. Let's talk about the one that ends the first half, where we have the ball.
Oh yeah,
we have the ball. I can't remember where it was, but
it's just
so
it was
Matt
at
Gay missed
R48. R48.
Matt Gay missed a
R40.
57-yard field goal. We get the ball at midfield,
R47.
and we throw a screen.
Yeah.
To Demario Douglas instead of a Hail Mary.
Do you think Mac Jones could reach the end zone from there?
Yeah, I did.
No.
50 yards, 50, 60 yards.
I don't
Well,
think
he's
he's
not-
got faith.
He's not throwing from the line of scrimmage. He'd be throwing from a couple yards behind the line of scrimmage.
60 yards. You don't think he can make a 60-yard play?
I don't think he can throw it 60
I don't think
yards.
they wanted to show
He
that
seemed
he
pissed.
couldn't do it.
He seemed pissed in the post game that he said, "I don't know why we did that."
I saw that. I don't. I think he just doesn't.
I think
know
he
what's
could throw
going
the
on
ball
anymore.
60 yards. He's an NFL quarterback. I know he doesn't have a great arm, but
He could also get a sack. I would say a sack fumble return for a touchdown is way more likely an outcome to that play than a Hail
Yeah.
Mary completed for a touchdown.
especially
Yeah, isn't that what
especially the
happened
way he
last
was
year with
going.
Chandler Jones?
That was a handoff
that
to
That was a
to,
handoff. Was that a
Ramondre.
handoff?
It's a handoff to
Was it a
Ramondre.
throw backwards to Jacoby? Is that what you're talking about?
No,
Jacoby
I'm
Myers?
pretty
No,
positive that play.
oh,
They
no,
handed
no,
off
yeah.
to Ramondre. He pitched it to Jacoby, and Jacoby decided to throw it 30
That's
yards
right.
back.
Right.
That's
That's what
right.
it was.
That's
That's what
right.
it was.
But anyway, Mac Jones sacked 5 times, 4 times on third down. Should have been 5, but he picked up a half yard on one of them.
Mhm.
The most for the Patriots in a game, and we're at halftime since 09.
Yeah.
5
On third down.
sacks.
On third down.
And
yes.
On third down.
you know, I don't know if he wasn't getting a lot of time, but in the pocket, like the first one, right? He just tripped and he just went down. It's like if you know, maybe you could scuttle around. There was a little bit of room in between the pocket. You remember it? Like everyone they got in a little bit behind him. It spooked him. He jumped up and fell down.
Yeah.
You know, some quarterbacks would just try and squeeze through that gap, find an opening,
Right.
and then throw the ball. And a lot of guys do that. It's not like it's a travesty for him to the point where there was even a play. If he feels pressure, he
goes down.
shifty. He's just shifty and shakes and thinks he's going to be a running back. Like every time there was a play, the one he ran for like 10 yards. I think it was in the third quarter, right?
Yep.
16. It was more than 10. It was
16. Okay. You know, okay, that was a nice run and everything, but when you watch the play, Owenu takes his guy deep on the right tackle spot,
Mhm.
and Mac's back there. Mac panics and runs to the outside left. Now, if you watch the line, he could have sat there for like 10 seconds.
Mhm.
That was the best
Yeah.
pass protection he's had all year, and he decided to run it. Okay, 16 yards. But the point is, you're a quarterback. If you're any other quarterback that's decent in the league, you go, oh, great, I finally have time, and you make a big play downfield, and you put the ball in your athlete's hands type of thing. That's what the whole point of the position is. So I've been a, Mac fan this whole time. I've been rooting for him. I've been trying to root for him. I've been wishing him the best of luck, and I've been wanting him to succeed. And just the lack of getting anything going throughout this game, throughout the leading up games. He had the game in Buffalo we kind of thought was a turning point. It seemed like it could have been. And he just went further down.
Yeah.
Outside of he stopped the pick sixes, but he's went further down and, leading to the final. I mean, he throws a pick, and it's the worst pick I've seen this season. We've seen a lot of bad interceptions, and then he gets benched. So what does that say too? And we were all ready for it. It's not like we're like, what is he doing benching him? We're all like, get him the fuck away from the football.
I think a lot of people are annoyed by the timing of the benching. Because
I don't care.
One drive left.
I don't care.
If you make that throw, you need to come out of the game. You just need to come out of the game.
Granted, it is definitely funny timing. Like for you to take your guy out when there's 2 minutes left and one drive left, it's like, wow, you've really fallen far.
If he made that throw in the first drive of the game, I'm sorry, you just can't do it. And we can go over the play, but first half, especially, I felt like you could just breathe on him and he was going to the ground.
Yeah,
it wasn't like there was a lot of hands on him. He went
just
to the
too
ground.
spooked,
He goes to
man.
the ground so easily, and I think he panics. It just looks like panic. It looks like panic.
It looks
to me
like
because
panic.
There's things he can do. He's not like the worst athlete of all time. Like
Right.
he can, wiggle out of some stuff, but
Yeah,
Well,
he's become a skittish horse. It's
Right.
every little thing, and even if there's not like real pressure, he still acts like there's
He
pressure.
feels it. He
and
feels
that's when the worst throws come.
Right.
Like the interception we keep discussing. Off the back foot, no power, doesn't step into it, can't throw it. Those of us who are watching on YouTube right now, but we're gonna look at the horror that was that play. I compared Mac Jones currently to Zach Wilson without arm talent.
Yeah, without athletic ability,
which is pretty fucking bad.
Pretty bad.
Yeah, so that's where he is right now, as we figure out how to share this video.
Well, and the thing is Ryan's going to get to in this,
Boom.
and this was kind of the theme of the whole game was guys were open. I've been more paying attention to guys downfield more so than other things, more than I normally do. And there's guys open. You see windows. There's paths that NFL quarterbacks are supposed to make. And this play, that's why we're so pissed about the interception. Anyone that watches football is going to see. It's infuriating how he threw that ball.
Yeah.
Anyone could have thrown that ball better. He had time.
If you
Look
look
at
at
his posture. Look at his posture throwing the ball here, as all his weight is on his back foot.
Back
He's
foot.
got 2 full clear yards in front of him.
yeah, that's a back foot throw, but that's not an arm issue. That's a mental issue. Like
Yes,
he could still make
100%.
that throw. That's what, a 20-yard throw, and Gesicki's got. I mean, just look at it. Gesicki's got 20 yards of clear daylight in front of him, and he throws the ball basically to the 5-yard line. You know?
Right where that guy is, right by the red line there. He just throws it right to, was it him or 53? I can't remember who caught it.
It
but
was
like
32
that was his
on the
first
right.
read. He was on him the
yeah, it
whole
was
time.
32.
I mean, you look at the screen, 59 there. Verdarian Lowe is getting beat by Abukum. I don't know how to say his name. Samson Abukum, I guess. And
Ebukam, I think.
I mean, he gets instantly beat. You see Ezekiel Elliott is coming off the play action screen there. Not really a screen, but to the right. He's open.
He's going to be
Hunter
wide.
Henry's
Yeah.
going to be open. With one more second, you find out what that safety does, if he bites on Juju or if Douglas is going to be streaking over the middle. It depends on what that safety is doing, but someone's probably going to be open there too. But his first read is Gesicki, and he's wide open, and he's got 20 yards in front of him. And it's one of the worst throws I've ever seen.
Yeah. That's the problem. It's just so.
Yeah. So then say
Brutal.
he gets benched and chewed out with 2 minutes to go. They bring in Zappy.
And by the way, it
Which-
was Juju ended up being wide open, right? The safety bit on Douglas.
It looked like he was moving up on that.
After that, the play was, I mean, the ball was basically in the air right at that time.
Yeah, so
Right.
Right.
So Juju was open from what I remember seeing, and Gesicki. So your two outside guys are essentially wide open, and there were the Colts defense kind of sucks. The whole team sucked. That was the whole thing. They didn't beat you.
Yeah.
You beat
Didn't
them.
do anything.
You-
All you needed to
you were-
you needed to make like one play in that game through the passing game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen,
Anything.
the Patriots had 4 red zone trips and 0 touchdowns.
In 6 points.
6 points, 4 red zone trips.
And that's
That's
as bad as it gets.
Yeah. Pretty horrendous. On a day the defense played pretty damn well.
Really
I mean, the
well.
defense tackled better than I've seen them in a while. Still some curious personnel decisions there. But I thought for the most part, they played pretty well. I mean,
played
Uche
pretty
barely
well.
got on the field. Jack Jones ultimately gets cut after this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. And-
JC stays home. So they have a lot of backups on the back end. But I thought they covered pretty well. The pass rush was horrific. Minshew was buying time, but he wasn't killing them downfield because the coverage was good enough. And they stopped the run, which is the main thing.
So there's a lot of drop passes on their end, like, a couple overthrows by Minshew too. It just wasn't, it wasn't a well fine-tuned offensive machine by any means. I thought Jonathan Taylor could be, might have gashed us up. I think he ran for the touchdown, but outside of that, he had a pretty pedestrian game. Barmore showed up. Barmore continues to show up. There was one run stuff he had where he just powered past
that
the
one.
lineman and crushed the running back. I love to see that. He's becoming one of our best defensive players, which is nice. Tavai continues to show up every week. He seems to make a play on the ball, which is great. I think,
He
there's a
tipped the
positive from
interception, right?
tip the
Yeah.
interception, right?
He's done that a couple of weeks in a row now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's got
a
good
lot
hands.
of us weren't really big fans of him, but he's showing to be a pretty stout linebacker there and decent against the run and making more plays.
Duggar made a play on a 4th down, I think.
Duggar
In
was
the
making a
back-
couple of plays
backfields,
there.
yeah.
Sean Wade making some plays on the outside.
Sean
think-
Wade's been a lot better than I was expecting. I have to be honest.
He's
Like,
not great, but like if
He's not great,
next
but-
year you still got him with Christian Gonzalez and the rest of the gang, like he fits nicely in there.
He was playing a lot better than Jack Jones was, that's for sure. And I'm just looking at this 2022 class already. 2022. I'm not talking about like 4 or 5 years ago. I'm talking
No,
about
yeah, a year
2
ago.
years ago. And right now, the only one that's giving us any kind of positive contribution, and that's debatable, is Cole Strange. Tyquan Thornton, did he play? Did he get one snap? I don't think he
0.
played one
No
fucking
snaps.
snap.
He got 0 snaps.
Yeah,
See,
he
what's
was
the point
active.
of that?
was
What's the
active.
point of that?
I don't know.
What is the point
Hey.
of that?
how about? I mean, all right. Marcus Jones is hurt. Let's see. Pierre Strong.
I wouldn't.
Off the
Yeah, I
team,
mean,
off the
who-
team. Jack
who?
Jones off the team.
Who was
Kevin
the first?
Harris
Oh yeah,
practice
it's Pierre
squad.
Strong.
Jason Hines off the team. Stuber practice squad. Sam Roberts is he on? Is he on?
He's
practice
on the
squad?
team. No,
He
he's
was
on the team.
inactive. He was
he does
inactive this
play
week.
though,
Yeah,
but he's
I mean,
on the
that's-
roster.
That's a
he's a
bad-
penalty machine.
That's looking like a
Kind of
bad
is,
draft.
yeah.
I mean, I love Marcus Jones. Don't get me wrong, but he's hurt. So that's
That's-
looking really, really
In-
bad.
You know,
Does.
Thornton, it's like, okay, he ran a couple wrong routes. I know that's bad, but you got to figure shit out. You can't just keep these guys, keep benching them. Let them go make some plays, you know,
Yeah, I was happy to see a booty sighting.
and a catch.
couple looks, couple targets. One of them, I think. No,
got
he
his
only
head.
got. I think he only got one target, but the
Yeah.
other one
He got his
Mario
bell
did-
rung on it.
late in
A
the
little
game,
bit, yeah.
Mario Douglas gets interfered with badly. He's getting tackled before the ball comes to him.
Yeah, and they didn't
don't
throw
call
it. They don't
Um,
call it.
You know,
When you're a losing team, it seems like the officials don't give a shit about you anymore. And then when
Yep.
you win, it seems like they throw all kinds of flags in your favor.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were like, let's just get this game over with.
Literally.
Let's just
So
be
look,
done
the-
with
I mean,
this.
it was just one of the ugliest fucking games I can remember in a long time in terms of just you should have won. You had every chance. They were handing you the game on a silver platter, series after series. And it's like, oh God, they stopped us, and then you give it right back to them, and they can't do anything, and
and
they
we put
fuck up, and then they give it right back to you.
and we put
it's
Bailey,
like-
Bailey Zappi in, and had I think 2 decent throws, but then the fake spike.
Yeah, it was
Oh my
bad.
God. And he seemed upset, and he said, I can't say what I want to say after the game about the play. And I looked
there
at the
be to
play. There's
say?
no one offside. There's
Was there
no one-
interference
there's
or
no one
something?
being interfered with that I saw. And he throws into triple coverage to get the Mario Douglas down the field. Obviously, pick. I mean, it was a
Something
horrendous.
he did see. I heard that quote. So there was something going on there. I don't know what it was.
I don't know what he was thinking.
Maybe
Um,
Douglas, he thought Douglas was supposed to sit down because he kept running upfield and then the safety undercut him.
Maybe Douglas ran the wrong route. I don't. That's possible. That's a possibility.
Perhaps. But still, you don't throw
But,
into
like-
triple coverage when you have single coverage on the outside.
And I wouldn't like as a quarterback. Yeah, I doubt you'd be like, oh, I'd want to say something, but I can't
Yeah.
about someone running the
Yeah.
wrong route. It's like that. If that's who he is, it's like, oh God, we've got another one on our hands.
If
Yeah.
you want to get pissed off, watch the all 22 and just pause it every so often when the quarterback's, going back to throw. And the quarterback's, there's someone right on top of the quarterback, almost every fucking throw. And there's a receiver open, but the quarterback's not looking at that receiver. And, you get an incompletion or a pick, and it happens so much. We need serious fucking help. And
Understatement of the year.
It's in multiple places. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying the receivers are good, but you can find open guys. You just have to go through your reads quickly, very
Yeah.
quickly now with this offensive line.
Well, so what do you think going forward? I mean,
Exactly. You're going
is
into
it-
the bye week right now. Then you have the Giants, who look like one of the very few teams we could actually beat at this point.
Huge game. Huge
Yeah.
game. And I'm telling you, you need to lose that game.
I know, but Bill's not going to lose to the Giants.
But what quarterback?
He's not
What
gonna
quarterback do you want to see?
For the Patriots?
Uh,
I don't think you can
for the
put
game.
Mac Jones
For the
Yeah, for the
game.
game.
So,
I don't think
yeah,
you
you
can
can't-
put Mac
you
Jones in
can't.
the game because you can't then
Can't do
tell
it.
the teammates to be like, hey, this guy
No.
is our best quarterback. They're
You
going
have
to
to
be
play
like,
Zappe.
that fucking guy.
I think you have to
Right.
play Zappy.
I think it's got to be Zappy.
yeah,
Probably.
it's Zappy.
I'd love to know what the hell the deal is with Will Greer. He's been on the team for 2 months now, and I haven't
People
heard
keep
of Pete.
talking about him.
I haven't heard of Pete.
I've heard little things like, "Oh, don't be surprised if Will Greer gets a start," and it's like, where the fuck is that coming from? What
mean,
is that based on? I don't
If it
know.
help-
But
I feel like I know enough about Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi at this point to be like, I know
Yeah.
those guys aren't
It's
the
a
answer.
it's a curiosity thing. to see
Yeah.
just to see what you have. And maybe
right,
Zappy. I mean, I would give Zappy some time to run. the
I'd give him a
offense.
chance. What I'll say this. I think before the year, all of us, at least definitely me, I didn't think there was any chance that Mac Jones was getting the full bench this year. I thought he was, it wasn't going to go so bad that he could get benched. I figured, okay, worst case scenario, he has like a pretty mediocre to lackluster season, and you get 5 or 6 wins. He just throws, 15 touchdowns to like 12 picks. But it's been so bad that he's getting benched for Bailey. I thought there was no chance. I'd like to see him game plan around Bailey Zappi.
Yeah,
Give him some stuff they know he can make the throw, and just start there.
He's been bad, but to me, when I watch the film, it's not the plays he's making, it's the plays he's not making. It's buying yourself another second or two. It's not like he's decrepit. He's not Drew Bledsoe. He could move around a little bit and buy some time, for fuck's sake. Roll out of the pocket, man. Not hitting open guys, missing throws, throwing off your back foot.
You're talking about Mac Jones.
I'm talking about Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Some of these plays are there, and he's just not making them. And
right.
The frustrating thing, very frustrating thing about Mac Jones is you see it in like
flash. You get a flash of it.
You get a flash of like he layered that throw in there. He rifled that one in there. Like
and it was nice. It was a great throw, but it's not consistent enough. It's unfortunate. We were all rooting for him, but he's just that's the thing. It's just there's plays there now. Bill O'Brien is calling a decent enough offense where you have options downfield, and if Bailey Zappi can sit back and Bill O'Brien points at the goddamn iPad and is like, this fucking guy right here, I think Bailey Zappi can lay one in there good enough that he'll get it. Now you're going to have to do passes with Zappi. I think that's something that everyone kind of forgets. He got like 3 balls batted a game because he's a little shorter. So you got to deal with that and whatever that shit that can cause.
I fully expect more turnovers with Zappi. If for no other reason than Mac plays it so safe. I don't know if you guys noticed it in the first quarter of the last game. He would do a 3-step drop, hit his back foot, and throw to the check down.
He's playing scared. He'd rather take a sack than throw a pick.
Oh yeah,
because he.
So Zappi's going to go in there with the instructions of we need to push the ball downfield, and downfield honestly means like 7 yards or more. Yeah. I'm not talking about chucking it all the way halfway down the field, but you can see right away when Zappi walks on the field, the zip on the ball looks, way better. Oh, this is an NFL arm. Right here. And
100%.
He doesn't have an upper echelon arm by any stretch. It's just an average arm. Yeah. You can see the difference.
Arm. I don't want to say that taking the sack is the wrong thing to do. It's the right thing to do, but throwing into space, throwing guys open, throwing into coverage is different than just throwing the ball. He's scared to throw to open guys. And it's
dude, and not even that. Even when we go deep, how many deep balls have we thrown? And he's not even close. I mean, there's been like 2 or 3 passes. I'll give him that the ball went through the receiver's hands. That's going to happen sometimes. But there's been so many. It's not even. We're not even.
He's not even making the easy play, dude. He's not even making the easy play, and I want to see what Bailey Zappi's got. You get.
I think he can make the easy play, and he can gun the ball in there, like Sean just said. He's got, it might look a little better. It might look a little faster.
Minimum 2 interceptions. Bailey Zappi 60-minute game.
Look, I don't give a shit if you throw 2 interceptions. If you throw 3 touchdowns with it, hey, I'll take that, or 4 touchdowns. That's the thing with Mac.
Yeah, you're very hopeful there.
I know. That's hopeful. But like Mac, it's he throws an interception and that's it. There's no touchdowns. If he was throwing 2 or 3 touchdowns, no one cares about the 1 pick. It doesn't matter how bad.
Zappi's got. I'm assuming he's going to get starter reps in practice for the next week and a half. He'll play against the Giants. It's a game that I think is really
such an awkward conversation. All right, Mac.
I think it's really important.
Fucking 9, you're out. See you later.
If you're dead set on a quarterback in this draft, and I'm happy with the consolation prizes because the tackle.
I don't know if I want Caleb Williams. I'll tell you that. All this shit going on with him, it's like,
he's had a tough weeks there. I still think his overall talent level is like really appealing, but I'm just looking at Drake May. It looks like more of he's got his head on his shoulders correctly. Great arm. There's a lot of talent there. If you miss on one of those top 2 quarterbacks, you go get a Marvin Harrison or one of those two stud tackles, that's great, but you still have a major problem. Like you don't have a quarterback.
Right.
You know, you could hope that a JJ McCarthy drops in the draft. It sounds like Quinn Ewers has said today that he's going to come back to Texas next year, which who knows what that does.
Who is he?
He's a quarterback for Texas. Great arm.
Okay.
Great arm, but you know, a lot of other problems. And then I don't know what that does.
Ryan's going to go real deep on the quarterbacks this year.
He's not the only one.
And,
He's not the only
and
one.
I think that's part of being a fan.
No, absolutely.
If you're in this situation and you're not looking at college quarterbacks, then you know,
right,
you're just trusting Bill Belichick or whoever the fuck's going to be in charge to take the wheel.
To build on that, while you're talking about if we don't get in position to get one of those top quarterbacks and you do wind up with a tackle, there's a lot of really good teams in the NFL that they use their first round picks on offensive, defensive linemen, wide receivers. All the dollars went around the quarterback position, and then you wind up with a Brock Purdy late in the draft. You wind up with Jalen Hurts in the second round, Dak Prescott in the fourth round. I mean,
it's like hitting the lottery.
I understand that, but Jalen Hurts looked like trash.
As much as the first overall guys.
He looked like trash, and he some of these guys get better. And if you have that proper protection and you have an elite offensive line and you have really good playmakers on the outside, it makes the quarterback look better. Yeah. Going along with that, you need a very good offensive coordinator. So you need to have a lot of things in place to elevate a substandard quarterback.
Yeah.
But it's another option if you don't wind up with that Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson type quarterback in the first.
The best quarterbacks in the league right now are first or second round picks. And that's what it is. You know, you need to invest in that position. Occasionally you'll hit on a guy, but you can't in no way. I mean, the 49ers didn't think Purdy was going to be that good. I mean, they had Garoppolo there.
Mr. Irrelevant.
They had Trey Lance. They traded up for Trey Lance. Then they got then they got Purdy. So by no means it's a guaranteed science, but if you're drafting on talent and traits, then you need to invest in that heavily. I am worried that if we miss out on a quarterback with the first two picks, we could be in this limbo, you know, of.
I'm going to tell you exactly what we're going to do, regardless, unless it's a completely overhauled system. Like Bill's gone, Jonathan Kraft has taken over, like the whole thing is just switched. What we're going to do is whatever pick we're going to get, we're going to trade till about 3 to 5 picks down and collect another draft pick and go with whoever's there.
Dude, the capital to
That's
move up.
what we are going to do.
I think if you have a top 2 pick, you stay there. If you have a third pick, maybe you move. And you've seen the last few years what you can get. It's like King's ransom. I mean, look at the Bears. They have Carolina's pick. It's the first pick in the draft, and they have more than that. So if you were to move down, you'd get a King's ransom, and maybe that's good for a rebuild. But I think
that's what we're gonna do.
I think if you have a top 3 pick, top 4 pick, and you're missing out on a Fashanu or a Marvin Harrison Jr. or Drake May or Caleb Williams, you're shooting yourself in the foot because those are franchise talents that you can't. You know,
I got a question about it, or maybe we shouldn't get into this now. Draft talk. Marvin Harrison Jr. You think he's gonna would play for the Patriots? Wouldn't care.
Why wouldn't he play for the Patriots?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about
hated the Patriots.
His dad's a murderer.
Ty Law used to shut his ass
allegedly.
down.
Well, okay, Ty Law shut his ass out. You think his son's gonna come here?
I don't see.
Like, oh yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's something,
dude.
I feel like that would be something in there.
His bad games, he scores like 2 touchdowns.
Dude, the other guy is nasty too. I don't know. I just saw some highlights on. I don't remember his name.
About Keon Coleman or Malik Neighbors? Malik Neighbors from LSU.
Maybe it was Neighbors. Yeah,
he's very good. He creates natural separation, probably like unlike anyone else in the draft. But Marvin Harrison's. I use this term very sparingly. I think I've done it 3 times in 8 years of writing up these reports, and even longer than that. I go back. But Marvin Harrison's a generational talent as far as wide receiver. You don't see guys 6'4" that can run like that can move like that have a feel for the position, catch point. He's got it all.
He's like Andre Johnson with receiving skills coming out.
I loved Andre Johnson.
Me too.
But Andre Johnson's huge. I mean,
very strong.
strongest receiver coming out of Miami. Yeah,
Andre Johnson was awesome.
Andre
He was
Johnson was my
perfect.
favorite. I
he was
freaking love
awesome,
that
dude.
guy.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so yeah,
A little dip our toes into the draft water.
dip our
there,
toes
but-
into the
Yeah.
off season.
Yep.
Well, that's
Where we're
gonna
at
be
when
the-
you're 2-8, you know.
the fun period of the year until they screw it up. But a quick history lesson: the highest draft pick Belichick has had with the Patriots, 2001, takes
Seymour?
Richard Seymour, 6th
Seymour, yeah.
overall.
Mhm.
I was devastated that they didn't select David Terrell out of Michigan, wide receiver, and he turned out to be
A
a
bust.
supreme bust
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
the Bears, and Richard Seymour obviously in the Hall of Fame.
I think it's a different story when you're talking about this draft in the top. I would say the top 5, I think, are all going to be really good, and then even if you factor Brock Bowers into that, I think top 6 are going to be absolute studs. After that, you know,
Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the Patriots 2-8 going into the bye week, coming back from Germany. We mentioned Jack Jones got cut. He did get picked up off of waivers by the Raiders.
Mhm.
The Patriots actually used that roster spot to claim JaMychal Hasty, a scat back off
Oh, I
the
do
Jaguars.
remember. Who
Yeah,
was
I
he
put-
played for?
He played for the Jaguars.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But scat back. I was watching the game. My wife goes, "Who are our other running backs besides Ezekiel Elliott, Ramondre?" And I was like,
Ty
"I guess
Montgomery.
nobody." Yeah, Ty
Yeah,
Montgomery
Ty
kind of
Montgomery,
counts.
who
So
was
maybe
just-
they did want more of a quickness option there. It was probably more about getting Jack Jones out of the building.
Don't you feel like if
Definitely.
you were a fan of another team and you turned on the Patriots and you saw Ty Montgomery, you'd be like, he's still in the league?
Yeah, I would totally have that.
You know?
Definitely.
I have those sometimes when I see Robbie Anderson, Chosen Anderson.
Robbie
Like,
Chosen. Yeah. Well,
What?
at least he's fast. I mean, I don't really know what Ty Montgomery does. He decides to take these kickoff returns to like the 18, 20-yard line when you could just put
Just
your knee
sit.
down and get the ball.
And
to
then he gets
25.
in on offense, and whenever we throw him the ball, it's the most compromised ball on the field at the time throughout the whole game. It's just the ball bounces up, or he's making some ridiculous catch falling over, and there's a defender there, and every time it's pretty close to getting turned over.
Yeah.
Just
I'm-
about every
I'm
time.
Really not sure what he's bringing to the table. I also want to touch on the special teams this week. What was the thought process behind not having a punt returner back when you have the Colts pin deep, and then the guy kicks a 70-yarder, line drives it because he knows there's no punt returner back, and the ball just bounces and bounces and bounces and rolls
Idiotic.
and rolls. Maybe you saw something on film, but holy shit, man, like that looked really bad.
Yeah, if you're gonna do that, do it at midfield. So if he punts it, like even if he punts it inside the 10-yard line, it's like, oh, maybe you lose a couple yards. Instead of fair catching it at the 10, it rolls to the 5
Right.
or something
Right.
like that. But you do it going into their end zone, and you totally telegraph the fact that you're going for the block because you bring in the extra guy to go
Right.
after the block.
And then just piling on with the special teams.
Terrible.
I thought Behringer had some really nice kicks in this game. He had some long ones, but man, too many punts into the end zone. Take a little off of it, man. Like,
Yeah.
He had
Adjust.
one of them that was angled towards the pylon, and it was close to going out of bounds. He missed it side to side by a couple of yards.
yeah.
But yeah, he put 2 in the end zone, but he was averaging. He was at 62 and a half
Yeah,
yards
he can boom it.
average per punt.
He can absolutely boom it. But I mean, come on, man.
He's a
Take
weapon.
a little off every now and then. And then Ryland with the missed 35-yarder is a bummer.
And then the kickoff that Ryland had to the 5-yard line on a line drive kickoff. It wasn't even like
Yeah.
a pop-up kickoff, and they return it out past the 40.
yeah, McKenzie brought it back like 40 yards or something. It's just
Yeah.
like, ugh.
Yeah, it was our special teams is horrendous. It was horrendous, last
It's
year.
one of the worst in the league.
Yeah, it's a couple of years in a row. I mean, this team doesn't do a lot well. Luckily, we stopped the run, but
What
we
do we
get a
do?
week off. We get a much needed break. The team needs a break. The fans really need a break.
We need a
We
break.
need a break.
We need
Yeah.
a break.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just getting since Buffalo, it's been getting worse and worse and worse. And oh, by the way, now Buffalo sucks too.
Buffalo
so it's
sucks. Why don't we
Um,
start? Why don't we start the week 10 recap on Monday night? Go
with
backwards. to
Buffalo.
forwards. Buffalo hosting the Raiders. Buffalo's crowd sounded like they were amped and loud and like a typical Buffalo crowd. Like they were trying to will that team around. And Denver was controlling the game. Josh Allen regains the interception lead over Mac Jones. And then just at the end of the game, my God, so it's 15-15. Broncos go down, score a touchdown.
First, I just want to mention that the Bills' first 2 possessions started with turnovers. There was a fumble on the first play, and it was horrible. I don't know what happened. Yeah, James Cook fumbles it. Next series, they get the ball. Josh Allen fires it downfield as normal. Complete pick, terrible throw. That's returned. So first 2 possessions, they went down, 0-2 in the turnover battle. Real bad.
Only gave up 3 points off those 2 turnovers.
Yeah, he looks like he's regressing, man.
He is. He doesn't look confident back there.
They fired their offensive coordinator trying to breathe some life into that unit. But so it's 15-15 the fourth quarter. Broncos score touchdown, miss the extra point. Classic, we're going to lose the game because we did that. Bills go right down, score a touchdown, make the extra point. Then the Broncos have a chance, 2-minute drill to go get a field goal to win it. They drive down. The Bills they're on the very edge of field goal range. Bills do an all-out blitz, sack Russell Wilson right away. I don't know why Wilson didn't just throw the ball away. And then the Bills were like, that worked. Let's do it again. They do it again. This time Russell Wilson throws it deep, way underthrows it, defensive pass interference. They move way down into field goal range. And then they play we're going to kneel it, and the defense is going to use the timeouts. And they do that all the way down to 23 seconds to go. And then the Broncos decide, instead of just kicking the field goal on third down, or like just chucking the ball out of the end zone and using 5 seconds, they're going to kneel it with 23 seconds to go and do a fire drill, run the offense off the field, field goal unit onto the field. Will Lutz lines up. He's like barely even set, and they go to kick it. Of course, he shanks the field goal.
Yeah.
And then the Bills have 12 guys in the field. Yeah. And then they get all their time and they nail the field goal. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe both coaches just tried to lose this game.
Yeah, literally. So stupid. It's pretty amazing the Bills, the 12 men on the field. I know it was a fire for them too, but it's like, come on, you're gonna lose because you sent an extra defender on the field. What do you...
Yeah. And then the offensive coordinator gets fired. He's like, I'm not involved in the field goal blocking.
Yeah, right.
So the Bills, tough spot to be in. They're 5-5 right now. The Broncos up to 4-5. Some of these teams that we thought that were good and the teams we thought were terrible are getting remarkably close in the standings. Like the Raiders win another game this weekend, and they have, I think they're like 1 game back of the Bengals. It's like, it's confusing.
Which is hilarious because Josh McDaniels was fired 2 weeks ago and now they're 500. It's like, oh, maybe
we got a little
they weren't
Russell Wilson in
that bad.
Yeah,
we did get
that scramble where he kind of like wheeled around and rolled left and threw the ball to Cortland Sutton.
Yeah,
that was
nice.
incredible.
Dude, that was
nice.
Awesome, dude. I saw, I don't know what that advanced metric thing is, but they said that there was a 3% chance or something like that. It was the lowest percentage throw in the last since they've been doing it.
Jeez.
And
wow.
Cortland Sutton made that little, oh man, what a
it was an incredible catch. Catch.
But a great throw too. And hats off to him. I thought the Broncos were cooked.
Yeah. Earlier this season, after we had the 2 terrible blowout losses, we were talking about which franchise is in the worst shape. And I was like, only the Broncos are in worse shape than the Patriots because of the picks they had to trade for Wilson, the salary that they had to give him over. I think he's under contract for like 4 more years. It's horrendous.
Yeah. Wow.
But he's starting to turn around. The whole team's starting to turn around. And I'm like, fuck.
Sean Payton.
You could
just getting his team back. Yeah.
You could make the argument that the Patriots, legitimately, you can make this argument that the Patriots are in the worst shape of any.
No, I'd say the Giants. Giants are in worse
the
because
Giants
they just
at least
signed,
have some talent.
But they signed Daniel Jones and he just tore his ACL. And
yeah, but you can get out of that after
after one more year. If you more year, you can get out.
If you take 1 year of bad cap money, you can get out of that deal, which is surprising for how much they paid him. But I mean, you still got some weapons there. You got some young receivers, Wan'Dale Robinson, Jalen Hyatt. You got a good tight end there. Saquon, who knows?
That's the thing, dude. I don't think
Deontay Banks.
I mean, we don't have a lot of talent. Like we're not upper echelon talent, but guys are getting open. Like plays are there to be made to win these games and be 500. Like there have been plays. Yeah, Max had to do a lot. especially early in the season. He just couldn't do it, and it finally broke him. And that's where we're at. That's why we are in the gutter. Our defense has just let up 10 points. It's like,
Well,
oh,
the
if your
other one-
defense lets up 10 points, you're probably going to win the game because it's pretty hard for the other defense to only let up less than 10 points. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's a difficult thing to do. And that's what we've done several weeks in a row. We just can't, our defenses I don't think we're that bad. That's the infuriating part. If everybody sucked at every position, sure. I mean, but it's the NFL, so it's not going to happen. But anyways,
You
Yeah.
don't think we suck that bad?
no,
I do.
personally, I think if we had a quarterback who was,
That's a
You
big
know-
that's a big ask though. Like
no, sure. But I mean, if we had one of the top 20 quarterbacks in the league right now, I think we'd have 4 or 5 wins.
I was saying that to someone. I can't remember.
If we had Sam Howell, we'd have a few more wins.
I said that to a Dolphins fan who was texting me this week, and he goes, What the fuck's going on with Mac?" I said, "I think if we had an average quarterback, we'd be like 4-6 or 5-5."
Yeah,
I
we'd
think that's
probably be
reasonable.
500.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it too. Zappy's the one. What he
The
was
offensive line
one-
is atrocious. I feel like if anyone gets hurt, we're fucked.
Yep. Okay. Speaking of train wreck teams, the other team I would put their hat in the ring for worst position is the Panthers. Bryce Young
Yeah,
is still
that's
too
a
early to tell, but losing next year's first round pick,
That
which
offensive
is
line-
currently the number 1 overall pick, is
Is
a
a
big. That's
loss.
a strike to the heart. Plus, there's a couple second rounders still leaving that the Panthers organization over the next 2 years.
Yeah, I can
So
see that.
they're in
I
a
think-
tough shape. They had a suck off.
Suck
bowl-
off.
Suck off.
The suck off bowl on Thursday night against
I
the
didn't
Bears.
even watch. I couldn't
Bears
watch.
and Panthers. Who can be worse? I was rooting for the Panthers because Justin Fields is going to come back for the Bears, so they might get some more wins out of that. But Panthers just dreadful. They ended up losing that game, enhancing their lead on the number 1 overall pick, which will be going to Chicago. But the Thursday night games are looking up from now on. We'll get to that a little bit later. Other huge games. So we had a couple big upsets. This is actually a really exciting Sunday, even though it got off to a
It was
boring start.
awesome.
With
It
the
was actually
Patriots.
really good. Yeah,
It was great.
Yeah, no, there's some good games.
this is
We gotta
5
s-
games decided by a walk-off field goal.
Does that
Yeah.
include the Monday night game?
No, that was all the 1
Oops.
o'clock. That was through Sunday.
Damn. So Monday
Sunday,
night
yeah.
did the same thing.
So it's got to be a record.
We got to
Yeah, I
start
think-
with Texans taking on the Bengals. Bengals
Yeah,
looked like one of the hottest teams in the NFL. And the Texans were like
Not
this good
for
story,
long.
upstarts, and then they just throw down the gauntlet.
Dude, statement game for the Texans there. Stroud has got to be mentioned as one of the best players in the league right now. He had a bad
I
pick.
know.
He had a bad pick late in this game that he totally rebounded from. I feel like he's really good when it matters the most. He's throwing not the greatest guys. I mean, Dalton Schultz, Nico Collins, Noah Brown, Tank Dell. That's a really good combination there. Probably not world beaters.
No,
You
but
know,
good players.
good
But
players.
guess he's getting the best out of them. He's elevating his players.
He is, and I gotta say, like for a
Noah
rookie-
Brown was a nobody, dude.
This might
you
be
know?
the closest I've ever had a rookie to being in the MVP conversation. Like he's been that good, you know.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And I don't know who's been like great throughout the entire season so far. That would compete. I mean, I'm sure there's a handful of guys, but Bengals scored immediately, and then the Texans defense just shut them down. It was 5 straight punts, and then Texans got a field goal as the game. I mean, so it's a huge drive there for CJ Stroud to basically win the game. You know, it was very like not to put him in this class, but it was very Tom Brady-esque. Like he made the throws when it counted.
Mhm.
Then they had a backup field goal kicker come in because I guess Fairbairn's hurt.
Yeah, it was like one of their secondary or special teamers
Yeah,
came in.
came in, won the game. Pretty cool, man. And I don't think the Bengals played particularly badly. They got Jamar Chase involved. And,
They s- yeah,
you know, just the Texans, I feel like
they're hot. We were calling
They're
them.
hot,
They
man.
were calling them a decent team before the year started. I'm happy you mentioned that about the talent of the Texans. I mean, you know, bring it back to the Patriots quick, just to how we always, you know, all year lack of talent. Mac Jones has no talent around him. This, that, and the other thing. Before the season, I would have said our talent's I would have taken our talent probably before over. I don't know any of those guys on the Texans. You know, Tank Dell, I figured might be a good player. Dalton Schultz has had a good year, but I thought what we had is better. But because they have a good quarterback who has confidence and is getting the ball downfield and making the right decisions,
Right.
now their talent's better than ours.
Yeah.
See how that worked? It just was
Their guys are a lot younger on the outside, I think, too.
yeah, no, they're more raw guys, but like I
think
thought
their offensive line, you could argue their offensive line's better than ours too.
but I didn't think that going into the year. I didn't think that was going to be, but but anyways, back to this game. I thought the ending sequence was hilarious where the Bengals, what was it? The Bengals threw a pick. Joe Burrow's going downfield, trying to keep the lead, and he throws a pick, and then the Texans fumbled it. Was that
They
what they
threw
did?
another pick. They
He
threw a pick.
threw
Right
a pick.
back.
That's
Yeah.
what it was. He threw a pick right back. Bengals go down. They scored. Texans end up sealing the deal. So it was just a back and forth.
I love-
crazy
I-
play after crazy play. And you
But
gotta love these quarterbacks that they don't back down, man.
Dude, I love that.
That's
love
what
that.
you
I love that.
need.
I love that for CJ Stroud that he threw that pick. It was a bad pick. It was
Bad
I mean,
pick.
let's be honest, it was a fucking horrible decision.
And he comes back and he kept
And
going.
he comes back. That play's gone. That play's over with.
Oh,
And
there's
he
someone
comes
wide
back.
open. I'm gonna put it right on the money for him.
The confidence did not waver. And
We've never seen that from Mac, unfortunately.
no, I don't think we have. So
I don't know if we've maybe against Buffalo. Maybe was the
the
one
Texans.
game.
I mean, they're coached well. They're playing really really well. Singletary had 150 yards in this game. Noah Brown 172 receiving yards. It's a fun team to watch, man. Every week it's been fun to watch them.
They're playing hard. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
playing hard.
Putting up numbers to go with it. Next one up, Browns on against the Ravens. Ravens
That was a good game.
take a big old lead, carry that into the second half, even into the fourth quarter, and the Browns just come storming back. Deshaun Watson had his best half of football as a Brown
Yeah, I want to say it
in the
was
second half.
14 for 14 in the second half. I guess they thought the Browns would just go away. I mean, I think the Ravens led almost the entire game.
Yeah, they
just
did.
They just kept nipping at him. And I don't think it was Lamar Jackson's best game by a long shot. But Cleveland's one of those teams, man. You let them hang around, and especially with that defense. And granted, the Ravens put up 31 on them. The Browns are feisty, man. And if Deshaun Watson can get back to any kind of form that he had from a few years
Yeah,
ago,
they could make a little bit of a run here. I agree with that.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's a good team.
that was in Baltimore too, right?
in Baltimore. That
Yeah,
that
in
division
Baltimore.
is nuts.
It's
Finishing out that division, the Steelers playing the Packers in a game that we thought was going to be just like this. Packers weren't going to play that well. Steelers were going to play even worse, but still win somehow.
Yeah.
Classic.
Kind of came out like that.
Steelers had, once again were outgained in yardage. I think it's been all 9 games this season. They've been outgained in yardage, and they're 6-3.
They're last year's Minnesota Vikings. That's what it feels like. Just like
Yeah.
winning games where it's like, how the fuck are you? And they're all close. I wonder if that statistic comes back up, like the most games are getting close to the most games won by. What do they like? Win every game by like a field goal or
I
like
figured out
points
how
or
how they're
4
winning games.
points.
I figured it out, dude.
What is it?
Turnover different, not so much differential. Their defense has the most takeaways in the league.
Yeah, right.
Huge.
I mean, you
So-
think about the Patriots, we go, oh, their offense was so much better. I think our defense scored what, like 8 touchdowns last year or something?
Lots. Yeah.
9 touchdowns.
We've
like,
been very much
a ridiculous amount. So, that helps your offense too when your defense gives you 7 right on top and you're like, oh, now I can just run the ball. So,
Yeah. They don't. We aren't taking advantage of those opportunities even when we get them, and we haven't got a lot of them compared to last year. We have not gotten a lot of turnovers. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, the Steelers are one of those opportunistic teams, well coached.
6-3, man.
I got to say, Jalen Warren looks like the better back to me.
I've been saying that all season. I don't know why he doesn't get all the carries.
I mean, Najee Harris is like,
He looks slow, man. He looks so slow
he
out
doesn't
there.
look like a first round pick to me.
No.
And he did last year.
No,
But,
no, he didn't.
at times.
He,
Sometimes
he
Yeah,
just
he had like 2 good games last year out of 16, and every other thing he looks like he lost a step or maybe never had the step. I never really watched him that closely.
he never had it. He would have been a great running back 20 years ago.
I mean, Jalen Warren's averaging over a yard more than him per carry. I think that I would just be like, you know what? And I know Najee keeps starting these games. You know, it's running
They
back,
should-
so I guess it doesn't matter.
They should do
too much,
the
but
flip that they did in 2005 when Jerome Bettis was the lead back for so long, and then they flipped and Willie Parker was the lead back, and they went with speed
Right.
to start, and the
Willie Parker.
Bettis would finish games.
Right, and he would goal line short down. You know,
Yeah,
he was the bowling ball,
yeah,
the
that's what they
bus,
should do.
basically.
so they had I like Deontay Johnson. They got Allen Robinson over there.
He's
George
shot.
Pickens. Yes, he is. But Allen Robinson, they've been playing him in like a tight end role.
That's
and
cool.
I know Fryermuth has been hurt, and they have Darnell Washington in there. They're using Darnell Washington as basically a blocker or a decoy, and they have figured out a way to get Allen Robinson kind of involved here as a like a tight end, basically.
Good.
Pretty cool-
Marcus
pretty cool,
Colston.
man.
Him.
Yeah.
Nice. And then possibly the best game. I think it was the most fun to watch. The Lions against
Yes.
the Chargers. That game
Yeah.
was ridiculous.
Yeah, I do.
I thought going in that given the weakness of the Charger defense and the strength of the Detroit offensive line, I thought this was just going to be Detroit's going to have the ball for 40 minutes and they're just going to run it the whole time. And it was
Yeah.
way more of a balanced game than that.
It's back
And
and
it was
forth.
back and
Shootout.
forth. Oh my goodness,
Forth.
the scoring, the playmaking that was happening on both sides.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a
Uh,
terrific game. 41-38, the Lions pull it out.
Classic.
Pull it out.
Chargers
We're gonna have
can't
to talk
win.
about the end of the game, but
Classic. The Chargers can't win.
both
You knew
quarterbacks lighting it up. Yeah, I mean, there's so many fourth downs in this game where they went for it. There was there was a couple in particular I want to talk about. There was a 4th and 5 where the Lions got it in the on a run, and then in the 2-minute drill it was a tie game, 38-38. The Lions are on the Chargers 26, and they go for it. And not only do they go for it on 4th and 2,
Yeah.
with a tie game with like 2 minutes left, they pass to Laporta. He gets 6. They run out the clock, kneel the ball, and kick a field goal to win the game. But man, fun plays in this game. I feel for Justin Herbert. He had a great game, but it's all Eckler and Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen
Oh, yeah, the whole game.
he had 40 attempts. I feel like more than half of them were to Eckler and Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen had 14 targets.
Jeez.
Quentin Johnston had a couple drops. Back and forth the whole way. The Lions started out the game running like crazy. I mean,
Yeah,
John-
Montgomery went off.
Gibbs,
He had a good
Gibbs
game.
looks like Gibbs looks
Gibbs
the
looks
real
really
deal.
good.
Montgomery had this one, I think it was a 75
75 yarder, yeah.
where he ran, he got into the secondary, there's a safety and I think a corner there, and he does this like hop juke to get himself in space, dude. It was fucking sick, and ran for a 75-yard scamper, dude. That was game's fun, and on that play, Jamison Williams is downfield, just using that 4.3, 4.2, whatever the fuck it is, speed to make a ridiculously good block, dude, on Asante Samuel. It would not have been a touchdown without that block. So, you know, I don't think he's getting involved in the way that we thought he would to this point, but you know, getting
Staying
in there,
active.
making a block it's good to see.
Yeah. Listen to the last 11 possessions in the game. If you pull out the kneel down at the end of the first half, had 1 punt, 1 field goal, and 9 touchdowns.
Dude, they
That's
went
awesome.
for it. Both teams, both
Kept
teams
going
going
for
for it on 4th down. I mean, and you know, some of those plays, like if you don't make those plays, you look like an asshole. You know, Dan Campbell, the 4th and 5 from the Chargers 26. If they don't get that, or the 4th and 2 from the Chargers
That's
26, if
insane,
they don't
yeah.
get that instead of
You're
kicking the
screwed.
field goal, dude, they could have taken the field goal there, taking the lead. They have Riley Patterson back there as a kicker. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing there, but we would be absolutely shitting on Dan Campbell.
Oh
if they
yeah,
didn't get that.
no doubt.
yeah.
No doubt. Yeah, great game. Another game that ended up hosting the Saints. Josh
Mhm.
Dobbs continues to roll. They get up to a big lead. Derek
Maybe
Carr,
we should have traded for Dobbs, huh?
no
What do you
doubt,
go? What do you
Yeah.
go for a 5th round pick or something?
Dude,
something like that for 9 games, whatever, however many games they're going to have him for. Derek Carr gets injured. Jameis Winston comes in the game, and the entertainment value immediately goes through the roof. Jameis
Yeah,
Winston, you
right.
just have no clue what's going on. I swear to God,
None.
his average air yards per throw has to be like 25. I mean, he throws the ball downfield more than anybody in the league. He's just chucking it. As soon as he gets in, Chris Olave is going off. Chris Olave had a pretty quiet
Yeah,
first
he had
half,
you
and
see that catch in the
oh my God,
Yeah,
his catch,
yeah.
insane. They end up. Winston made one of the dumbest touchdown throws I've ever seen, from basically the numbers on the left side to the right pylon in the end zone. It was probably a 50-yard pass to go 8 yards downfield.
He's got the most well-deserved reputation as a fucking moron.
Literally.
As anyone I've ever watched. But he, there's something to be said for being dumb. He's fearless.
he is
he's
totally fearless.
Totally,
Totally.
fearless.
Just
Yeah.
throw it up there.
You ever listen to him talk? It's like, oh my.
Yeah, some of the speeches, his
we're gonna eat
pregame
chicken.
speeches, it's so good. But the Vikings are on a roll here. I think they've won 3 or 4 straight games, and
Hottest team in the NFC, dude.
5 straight games. Excuse me, 5 straight
The
games.
hottest
They're
team in the NFC.
up to 6-4 after
Yeah.
an 0-3 start.
Crazy.
They're right in the thick of things currently in the playoff picture in the NFC. Saints are falling back, but they're still very much in the hunt in the NFC South. Also, the NFC South, the Falcons traveling to Arizona to go take on the Kyler Murray, newly returned Kyler Murray led Cardinals. And
probably good news for Pats fans. I would
such
say.
good news. I was so happy that they won this game, and it looks like they might win a couple more games, given the way that Murray looks pretty healthy. He was
decent,
using his legs really well. And he just gives a whole different dimension to that offense when he's out there using his legs.
I love that they won that game, and I love that they're, I like the Falcons this year, but I like that they won that game. I like that Kyler Murray's back. I like that he looks really good, and that's one less team for us to worry about having a quarterback in front of us. That's all I care about.
Yeah,
is our quarterback situation, because I want one of those 2 guys. But man, they're sneaky. They've been playing hard all season.
they've been playing hard all season.
And now they got you talk about top 20 quarterbacks. He's definitely a top 20 quarterback, even if you're not the biggest fan.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Falcons fall in that game. It's pretty tough look for Arthur Smith. They actually had to go back to Desmond Ridder in this game because Heineke got hurt. I don't know. It's kind of disheveled down there in Atlanta right now.
It's not great. I was really surprised that they didn't go after a quarterback last year in the draft, but talent like Bijan's there. That's a weird thing to me, is because you keep
They're
hearing
not really
stuff
playing
about,
him that though.
That's what I'm saying. You keep hearing the stuff about Arthur Smith, and he's like, "Oh, well, I don't care about your fantasy team and this and that." And I'm like, "Yeah, you don't care about my fantasy team, dude. You care about your team, because
Yeah, right.
I would give this guy 20 carries every fucking game. You see him when he gets the ball, and it's different, right? Like,
but he's not getting the ball that much. Maybe they're trying to
Contact
preserve
balance.
him. I don't know what it is. It's weird though.
He's got
Very
some of the
weird.
best contact balance I've ever seen. Like, if you make contact with him, he's still gaining yards on almost every play, and he's probably getting free of you unless you have 2 guys there to tackle him.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic talent, and I'm just like, use him more.
Exactly. They got all the weapons in the world down there. A game that we highlighted last week that turned out to be a dud. 49ers regained their form.
Huge dud.
Crush.
Yeah,
just
dude.
smoked the Jacksonville.
Crushed the Jags.
I
It's
didn't
like, I
take
don't
a
know if
ton
you
of
can
notes.
believe at all in Jacksonville.
right?
I don't know if, you're looking at that division. You're like, the Texans look like world beaters, and the Jags can't beat anybody good. And the only game you would point to is when they beat the Bills in London, which is a
aren't
home
looking
game for
that
the
great.
Jaguars, and the Bills don't look good. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the 49ers absolutely needed to win that game.
Yeah, they came alive.
And to do it in that kind of fashion, I think, is huge for them, for their confidence going forward. They were on a little slide there, man. And to get Brock Purdy kind of right, Debo comes back, Trent Williams comes back. Those are really big players for them. And you see the way how they use Debo, and I mean, they use him in so many different ways, and you have to account for that guy because absolute stud. You know, it's interesting. And the Jaguars to not show up like that, I think, is a big down
That's
arrow.
a
Yeah,
red flag.
Lawrence had
Yeah.
a bad game. You know, he 17 to 29, 2 interceptions, no touchdowns.
Was the final in that with 30 something to 3?
34
34-3. They got crushed. So, you know,
The bad
Niners
look
went
for the
off.
Jags.
Kittle had a lot of yards. They tried to get McCaffrey. Do you see that? They tried to get the McCaffrey the most touchdowns in a row per
Who gives
game.
a shit?
Yeah, they gave it to him 4 times
They gave
in
it
a
to
row.
him, and it's like obviously they're gonna fucking give it to him. How do you think they're gonna let him be open? And they stopped him. I was happy about that. That was
Yeah.
nice.
They should have put him out in a passing route. Okay, last game of week 10. The New York Jets going to Vegas playing the Raiders. Antonio Pierce in the second game as head coach for the Raiders.
Such
Ekes
an
out-
ugly game.
Ugly game. I think I saw somebody write about this. They were like, this is the type of game where you fall asleep during the first half and then you wake up and you're like, good, I'm glad I fell asleep. I want to go
Yeah.
back to sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
Just the biggest story that came out of this game is Aaron Rodgers saying he's hoping to come back.
In a couple weeks.
Well, I think he backpedaled on that and he's saying, I guess he's still saying mid-December. So I'm looking at the calendar. That's only a month away.
Right.
They could certainly use him, but yeah, this Jets team they're really hampered by not having that quarterback position. Brees Hall is like, they should just run the entire
He's
offense
nasty.
through Brees Hall.
They barely give him that many carries. Another
Yeah.
guy. They
Yeah.
they use him sparingly, and when he gets in there, he can break one off.
Yeah. I just read a headline there that said Garrett Williams. I just got it like 15 minutes ago. Garrett Williams led a players only meeting with the team. Or
Garrett Wilson, yeah.
Garrett Wilson.
Garrett
But
Wilson.
that's impressive for a second-year player to be calling a
Yeah,
players only meeting.
definitely.
I fucking love that kid, man. I just wish he didn't play for that team.
I know, right?
Big time. Jets fall to 4-5. Raiders improve 5-5. They're on that exact same trajectory when Gruden got bounced from that team. Rich Bisaccia takes over. They go to the playoffs. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
they
looking the
didn't
same
bring
way from
Bisaccia-
Antonio Pierce.
They didn't bring Bisaccio back, and they're
No.
probably not going to bring Antonio Pierce back. And it's like,
No,
why don't you do the thing that's working?
Yeah.
You know?
just stick with the guy.
He's got another 7 games to prove his worth. And if they wind up with a winning record, my vote's going to be to keep him.
I'll tell you, the last few weeks, I think it's working. You know, like
It's working. I mean, they're eking it out. It doesn't look pretty, but they're winning.
doesn't
Yeah.
need to look pretty, man. Wins are hard
Wins
to
are
come by,
wins.
you know,
Wins
Okay.
are wins.
So given that the Patriots are on the bye week, we could jump right into week 11 games. And this is another good slate. We have some of the worst teams in the league are on byes. Atlanta, Indianapolis, the Patriots, and the Saints are on
whoa,
byes.
whoa,
We
whoa,
have,
whoa.
Thank God.
Atlanta's one of the worst teams in the league.
they're certainly lower half.
They're bottom half.
They're like
definitely.
4. What are they? 4-5.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. They just lost to the Cardinals, man. I know the
Eh,
Cardinals are rejuvenated, but anyway, it's a
all
lot
right,
better than
all
last week. Last
Take
week
it
when
easy.
we had the Chiefs, Rams, Dolphins, Eagles on bye
Right.
last week. We were missing a lot of great teams, which is probably why we had so many freaking close games.
I'm all
Yeah.
Chiefs out. I'm all Chiefs out, dude.
Me too.
I was.
love
I
it,
I
though.
needed that week away from the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Can somebody invalidate Travis Kelsey's passport so he gets stuck in Argentina, misses the game?
Yeah.
Nah,
That'd be nice.
Tay, get him out of that.
Yeah, she'd take care of it. But we get the return of good Thursday night football. Al
Yeah,
Michaels
great
is going to
game.
be pumped.
Yeah. Finally.
Cincinnati traveling to Baltimore. Both teams coming off really difficult, close game losses last week. Bengals need this game 5-4. Ravens are sitting pretty at 7-3, but everybody in that division is over 500.
Yeah. That's an
Uh,
exciting game.
It's a great game.
Both
I
teams
mean,
coming off a loss.
I know. Both teams coming off a loss. Cincinnati's record is not nearly what I would expect at this point.
No.
You know, I think we all picked them to at least make the conference championship. You know,
Yeah.
so we'll see.
This is a huge game for them. I think they need it more than the Ravens do, but the Ravens are playing
Definitely.
at home. Bad taste in their mouth. It's gonna be an epic game.
I don't really see the Ravens losing 2 in a row at home,
Yeah.
and then in which case they'd be 8-3, and the Bengals would be 5-5. Man, the Bengals need this game more than the Ravens, though.
They do.
They really do.
Really
Um,
do.
And then that would put them within a game of the Ravens at the top. So
Of the Chiefs. The Ravens would be within a game. Yeah, Ravens are only half game behind the Chiefs for a top record in the AFC right now. That's
I mean in their
that's a
division.
big prize. Oh, in the division. I got you.
And I think Pittsburgh is somehow 6-3. Am I
6-3
right
with
about
a
that?
negative
6-3.
point differential.
Yeah, ridiculous. And they have a big test coming up this week against the Browns defense.
Once again, the AFC North plays itself every
it's-
week.
Every
And
week,
it's
dude.
every week.
Ah, they
Pittsburgh
really
going into
do.
Cleveland. This is one of those games where you're like, okay, Cleveland is a better team. They should win this game. Deshaun
Right.
Watson is looking like a better quarterback after
But
last week's effort.
If the Steelers win, that's huge. That would be a massive win for them.
Yeah. But the Browns need it too. I mean, the Browns are they're both 6-3. If
That's
either
true.
of these teams wins and Baltimore loses, they're in a tie for first place in that division,
Right.
which
That's
means
true.
a home playoff game, giant game. I mean,
I don't know.
my brain is saying Cleveland, but my heart is like, how do you ever pick against Pittsburgh?
Yeah,
Here's
right.
the thing. Here's the thing that like troubles me.
Cleveland is what
I
my
know
heart's telling me.
Cleveland's defense is awesome, but they have
Best in the league. Best in the league based on points.
The Browns have the most turnovers in the league with I think 19, and the Steelers defense is first in the league at creating turnovers. So
Right. That's
I
a
mean,
that's a rough stat right there
yeah,
for Cleveland fans.
1 versus 32. I mean,
On turnovers, the worst thing to be batted.
yeah, dude. And I honestly think like
All right, no, I didn't know that stat. Yeah, that might.
in Cleveland.
I'll take the Steelers just for that stat alone.
I brought a great stat to the table. You can't say
You
I
did.
never did it, man. So
You did. That's a great stat.
Okay, couple other fun matchups. The Raiders at the Dolphins.
Yep, it's an interesting one.
It's an interesting one. I want to see. I have high hopes for Aiden
Oh, I
O'Connell.
want the Raiders to. Yeah, he's so bad.
Yeah, I want him to just huck it around the yard, and it's not looking so great yet. He's only had 2 career starts. It's a tough matchup going to Miami. They're coming off the bye. The Raiders are flying high. I think
They've
it's
got
fun.
the emotion. They just can't score. They can't score, and you gotta to play Miami. You gotta at least score, 25 plus to beat them.
yeah, I think so.
I don't know if
think
the
it's-
Raiders can do that. I don't think they
That's
can.
I think it's a tough ask. I got to say Miami in that game, especially they're in Miami. I just don't see how they can contain that passing offense with the guys they have back there. I think they're a little bit undermanned as far as talent there. I like the way they're headed, though. I will say the Raiders, I feel like they're on the upswing. So I'm taking Miami.
Yeah, I'm taking Miami too, unless Max Crosby has an out of this world game, and he's just a complete game wrecker. Next one, I can't believe we're saying this. The Cardinals at the Texans. If you told me in September this was going to be a good game to watch,
An exciting game.
I would have laughed in your face. But Cardinals coming off their first win in a long time. Texans coming off a really emotional big win. They're getting a lot of publicity right now. You got to watch out for the big head syndrome.
This game.
Still going to take the Texans, but it's going to be. I expect a good amount of scoring in this game.
I am very tempted to take Arizona here.
Really? No,
Yeah, dude.
I'm on the Texans hype train still. Keep it rolling. Let's go Houston. In Houston, come on.
Yeah,
They've been pulling it out of their ass, and I think they're going to continue to do it.
I don't think that the Cardinals are a 2-8 team.
I mean, come on.
But a 2-8 team that just got their quarterback back.
I
Right.
never liked Kyler Murray ever.
He's
Not
a lot
once.
better than Clayton Tune. I don't know if you
I will
watched any of that,
say-
dude.
But he's
Kyler
not
Murray-
better than Dobbs. Doobs was in there doing pretty good, and then they shipped him off. I mean, it's not a huge upgrade, if an upgrade at all.
Talent
I-
wise, it's a massive upgrade.
Yeah, talent wise, but winning ability can't.
Nah, you can't really fault Josh Dobbs there, and I don't think that's anything against Kyler Murray though. I think Josh Dobbs just knows how to play football to the point where like he's not going to hurt you, And
Yeah.
Kyler Murray, you can say what you want about him. I don't think he's the greatest leader for sure. I think he's one of these guys that's like super talented, not someone you want leading your football team.
Yeah. So
As far as-
talented
as
that
far-
he didn't have to lead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But man, the Cardinals are fun to watch. I think that I would think they're probably 4-6 minimum with Kyler Murray the whole season.
Don't
Maybe.
forget the fact that everyone always forgets his teammates do not like him. So
Hate him.
that will come out at some point. That always rears its ugly head that he does not have a relationship with anyone on his team.
Takes a couple weeks though.
I think I'm just so high on the Texans. I'm
Takes a
gonna
couple
say the
weeks.
Texans in this game, but honestly, I kind of want the Cardinals to win because they have a 2-8 record.
Oh yeah, I definitely want them to win.
You know, as far as from a Patriots perspective, I think that's great. Like any team that is going to win 3 or 4 games this year is going to have finished with a better record than us. I think we'll be lucky to win.
If we
3
get to
games.
4.
If we
We get to 4,
games,
that's shocking at this
Yeah.
point.
4 is a lot. 4 is an awful lot. We still do
Even
have the
though we
Jets
still
again
have-
on the schedule.
Yeah. What do we have? 7 games left?
7
what's
games.
funny? Like, I
Jets and
always
Giants
say-
are the best chances.
I say this stuff and like it sounds like I'm rooting against the Patriots, but when I watch the games, I want the Patriots to win. Like,
Yeah, same.
but
Right,
I'm like
yeah.
I'm
Oh, definitely.
when I look at it from the like bird's eye view, I'm slightly satisfied that we're going to get a top 5 pick. You know, I'm not gonna lie there, but who knows, man? I mean, we can go on a roll. Who knows?
We could. I mean, maybe we win 7 in a row. Pretty unlikely. Zap. What if Zappy
Pretty
goes on
fucking
a
unlikely, bro.
7-0 fucking run? Oh god, that'd be hilarious.
That's not going to happen. Next one up, the Jets going to Buffalo. Bills get another home game. This
Big
one
game.
is billed as one of the marquee games on CBS. I bet Romo's going to be there.
Yeah.
The Jets can't get much going. Buffalo the wheels are coming off for Buffalo right now. Mentioned they fired Ken Dorsey, offense coordinator.
Yeah.
They promoted from within Joe Brady, who was most famously the LSU offense coordinator when Joe Burrow was there.
Okay.
Gotcha.
But I don't know if that's enough to turn this ship around. Sean McDermott is getting a lot. He's getting a lot of shit online right now after being one of the praise coaches for all the years that he's been there.
Mhm.
Really tough spot. I mean, the Bills need this real bad. And
They do.
I don't know if the Jets have enough to overcome it.
I don't think the Jets are really. I don't consider the Jets a serious team. And maybe this, you know,
Yeah, they're more like a pest of a team. Like they might come out and bite you, but more than likely they're just gonna fold.
Yeah.
I'd be
We
surprised.
gotta watch out.
I would be really shocked if the Bills don't get this right at some point. Maybe it's not this week, but just getting on track to where they at least make the playoffs. I would be very surprised if they don't make the playoffs. I would say that would be the more so than the Patriots.
That would
being
be
like one of the worst teams in the league. I would say that would be like the biggest disappointment.
that'd be a big surprise for
And
sure, dude.
honestly, if they don't make the playoffs this year, Sean McDermott is going to get fired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
definitely see that happening.
I think they have the firing of their offensive coordinator. We've heard a lot of negative things about him too this year. So maybe that's enough juice to kind of bring things back down to the basics for this offense and get Josh Allen kind of seeing things a little better. I mean, I don't know if you guys watch the Manning cast. I get the biggest fucking kick out of it. They're hilarious.
You love it. I never watch it.
I never
Dude,
watch it.
it's so good. They're great entertainment. But a lot of the stuff they're saying is really good. They kept doing these up and out routes, and that's where Josh Allen's got picked off a few times this year. And they're showing it. They're like, this is a really fucking tough throw. You're going through a tight window, and if your receiver and the timing, like, why don't you cut that in or bring it back? The routes they were having guys run, and the Mannings were pointing it out over and over. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why they would run that when you could just cut it in right there and he's probably wide open or this or that, the other thing. So
How about that? Good intel.
Great. I love
Bills.
that kind of insight. I have books that I read that are like, the RPO Bible and shit like that give you that kind of insight. And it's very rare that you actually have it on like a
broadcast.
a mainstream media thing.
yeah,
Because
no, that's why I watch
there's
it.
so much more to the game that
They do some stupid shit, but a lot of the stuff is like, they're like, nope, you don't want to do that right there. And they do it. And they're like, oh, see that, guys? That's why you don't run that play on the 3rd and 3.
That's
I
good.
love that stuff, just seeing seeing the play at the line of scrimmage and changing the play and adjusting coverages and routes and things like that. I love it.
Yeah. Bills have the most difficult schedule remaining of anybody in the league. Something to keep an eye on, sitting there at 5-5.
Yeah.
Okay, this one I'm calling the Desperation Bowl. This is Chargers versus Packers.
Yeah.
The Packers don't seem like they have any life left. I am not a believer in that team, but the Chargers just managed to not win games routinely. This is a game they have to win. They're 4-5 right now. They're currently 12th. There are 11 teams in the AFC ahead of the Chargers right now. They need to win this game.
That's absurd.
And they're going to Green Bay, and Green Bay is on a skid. They are on a massive skid right now. Sitting there at 3-6. It's like both teams are desperate. Matt LaFleur might be coaching for his job this season. Love obviously trying to play for keeping that quarterback role, but
so the one way I could
Chargers need it
see,
so bad.
I mean, it's good for the Packers that they're at home, but the one way I could see the Packers beating them is through the run game. I mean, the Chargers defense to me is just
so weak up the middle.
It's just so weak up the middle against the run, and like for them to be at this point where like they could be potential Super Bowl contenders and not have addressed this thing in a proper way is really frustrating as a a guy that likes to watch good football. And I think that they're like that is the thing that they're lacking that would make them Super Bowl contenders. And for them to be at this point of the season where they're like potentially not even going to make the playoffs is really troubling, especially with a defensive head coach. The guy absolutely sucks. And their offense has been so good, even losing Mike Williams, the way they're playing.
They score a lot of points, yeah.
They score a lot of points, man. And it's like, I don't know what you want Justin Herbert to be here, but
he can't stop the run.
If you don't win this fucking game, I don't think you're going to make the playoffs, man. Like
4-7, you basically can't. You would have to run the table and get some help.
Yeah,
it's a huge game. It's a
lot
huge
of help
game for the Chargers, man.
Need a lot of help.
Yeah,
and it's
that's point.
Honestly, it's shocking that the Chargers could miss the playoffs.
I'm not shocked at all. I thought they were gonna. They always suck. They always do this to themselves. If it keeps happening, it's no longer an phenomenon.
Yeah.
It's a reality.
It's amazing that this fucking guy still has a job, dude.
It is amazing.
It really
and
is.
they'll probably win this week and he'll keep the job. Then they'll lose next week, and then it'll be like, okay, now he's coaching for his job, and then he'll win the next week, and he'll just do just enough to keep him in purgatory.
It's very frustrating.
Okay,
if I was a Chargers fan, which I know there's very few of, I'd be so fucking pissed.
Yeah, because they're squandering it. Sunday Night Football, Minnesota Vikings traveling to the Denver Broncos, a game that is suddenly a lot more exciting with the emergence of Josh Dobbs and the turnaround that's been happening in Denver. It's at Mile
Broncos
High.
get back-to-back primetime fucking games.
They played a great one on Monday night.
Goddamn break. I know, but still, give me a break.
It's a short week for the Broncos. That's got to be factored in, but they are playing at home at Mile High against the Dome team. That's a big advantage. Justin Jefferson is teasing. Who knows if he'll be back or not? They've been actually moving the ball very well without him. They've had some other guys step up.
Yeah,
Addison and Osborne. Osborne's been good too.
Hawkinson.
Hawkinson's playing
well.
Holy shit, man! I benched Hawkinson this week because
Mistake.
The stupid ratings, the projections. You know what I'm talking about. They're like
they blew it.
He's playing against the best tight end defense, or
yeah,
whatever.
They don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
I put in Sam Laporta because I have both. Because I'm a fucking.
It's an embarrassment of riches.
I'm a young man scouter. You know what I mean? That's the stupidest thing I've ever said on this podcast. But I don't know why I overthought it, and I'm lucky I still won. But man, Hawkinson's been going off lately. I don't know what's going on with Madison over there. Is there another running back in there?
Cam Akers got hurt. I don't know.
Cam Akers got hurt, but they have someone else there that
I don't know who he is.
They got.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a close game. Neither of those teams are really runaway teams, but I'm going to lean towards the home field advantage on this one.
Dobbs Dobbs is going to come out and kill it.
Who knows?
I'm a
Definitely could
fan.
happen. Okay,
And,
the
Dobbs
number
is like proof. I'm sorry to interrupt. Dobbs
ahead.
is kind of proof that you just need to know how to play football.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need anything like complicated. He just
You-
came in there and like he's running their offense.
Sound decision making.
yeah, there
And
was
a little bit of arm talent is a good
Does the
decent
language
quarterback.
translate? Get the language to translate to one of my previous playbooks, and I can figure it out, kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, they had a play in that game when he went to hand it off, and he went to hand it off right, and the running back went left, and it was like, oh yeah, this guy's been in the building for 10 days.
Right.
Yeah,
It's just like one of those things, but yet they have 27 points and it's the third quarter.
Right. It's not that it doesn't look that difficult to just move the ball and get an occasional touchdown. Something that's impossible for the Patriots.
Impossible. The marquee matchup of the week, the primetime games,
Super
fantastic.
Bowl rematch.
Super Bowl rematch on Monday Night Football. I don't know how ESPN pulled this one out, but the Eagles are going to Kansas City playing the Chiefs. Two teams both coming off a bye, and they get the extra day going to Monday.
Both coming off the
Mhm.
bye. Yeah, this is the biggest game of the year at this point.
This is huge. Both teams lead their respective conferences. I feel like it's going to go a lot like the Super Bowl, where I felt like the Eagles controlled the game for most of it, and then the Chiefs won the fourth quarter. I just wonder if the way that the Eagles have been winning the fourth quarter this season, and the Chiefs have continued to decline earlier in the game, I feel like that gap is going to be expanded this season from where it was last year. So I'm going Eagles even on the road.
both
I'm
teams
going Eagles.
both teams are coming off the bye, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I like the Eagles in this one, but I think it's close. I think that the Eagles defense is the weakest group out of all these, and I didn't think that would be the case coming into the season. But the Chiefs' offense and defense is like top 5, top 6, and the Eagles'
Mhm.
defense is 14th right now in the NFL. So if there's a way to win, then it will be just the Chiefs going off on offense. But we haven't seen that much,
Only a couple times this year have they really lit it up on the scoreboard.
Right. It's a great game. It's potential Super Bowl preview for sure.
Yeah.
It could definitely
Could
potentially,
be a
yeah.
rematch. I mean, the way it's
I mean,
shaping out right now.
I think Eagles offense is just real dangerous right now. And I think we said it last week, just kind of waiting for Brown and Smith and, all their weapons to kind of hit at the same time, because it's like someone goes off at different times. They haven't had a full offensive experience there. Chiefs defense is one of the best in the league, though. So that's going to be a great matchup. I just can't pick the Chiefs, right? Can't
No.
fucking pick the
You
goddamn
don't want to pick
Chiefs.
the Chiefs.
Fuck
I
the
mean, I
Chiefs.
hate Philadelphia more than anything. But yeah,
I know I do too. There you go. That was my Super Bowl pick too. And the reason was because I couldn't pick the Chiefs despite how much I can't stand Philadelphia teams.
Yeah.
There you go.
But here
Yeah.
we are again.
Lot to look forward to. A couple really, really, really good games, especially on primetime this weekend. It's going to be a good one, and we don't have to worry about the depression that comes with watching the Patriots this weekend. We'll
Yeah,
deal
we
with
can
that
just
next
enjoy
weekend.
football.
little
We got
break.
Thanksgiving coming up between now and then, a Black Friday game. I mean, we're going to be overloaded with football. Some of the great college football rivalries that Saturday. A lot to look forward to over these next couple of weeks until the Patriots line up against the Giants, and it's another one of those face-offs for who's going to have a better draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge game for draft capital, and just draft position. It really is. Like,
Yeah.
it could be a franchise decider where like it sets you back years and years because you don't get this one of these franchise quarterbacks. That's how big a game it is to lose. What I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So maybe we put Will Greer out there and we see how bad he can be.
Mm-hmm.
See how little he knows in the playbook.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he's been
Yeah.
here for like 6 weeks. He should know something.
you should know something, but hopefully not enough if he gets
Yeah.
on the field.
Yeah.
Okay, that'll do it for us for the Week 10 episode. Please, again, remember to like and subscribe, rate and review to support the show. Appreciate you guys listening, sticking through this terrible season with us. You're all earning your stripes as true Patriots fans.
Yeah.
By
Yeah.
by
For
hanging
sure,
in there
for
with
sure.
us.
Yeah. This is
so-
This is what builds character, man. This is what makes the win sweeter,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You got to have the yin
Yeah.
to the yang.
Yeah.
Right.
So if we don't talk to you guys next week, have a great Thanksgiving. Enjoy all the football, family festivities. And yeah, we'll be back afterwards to see if the Pats are 2-9 or 3-8.
Yep.
Yep. All right, guys. We'll see you.
Adios.